I'm standing here with Howard Weiss. He is from Texpak, which is the North American representative for Scolari Roasters. Scolari Roasters is the Rolls-Royce of large-scale roasters in the world, and he is here to tell us all about them. So Howard.
Yes, sir.
How did you find yourself with Scolari?
I had been selling materials for the coffee and tea industry, a thread for tea bags, staple wire for tea bags, and eventually I got introduced to Mr. Scolari in Italy, and I saw a line of equipment that I felt was more advanced than anything I'd seen in the US. And that became my future.
You fell in love.
I fell in love. Sold off the other part of the business, and Scolari was my future.
Tell me what makes Scolari so special.
Well, aside from having a very robust mechanical design for the roaster, the technology is the key. They were the first one to do profile roasting, which now has evolved to many generations of software later that controlled the roaster very well by a PC. And now we do not only control the roaster, but it prevents a lot of problems in roasting and saves batches that might otherwise be lost for some errors in the roasting process.
And you're just not a roaster, you're basically from when it arrives at the door all the way to the packing.
That is correct. We start with the dump, and different products have different needs for how they dump green coffee.
Just so we know, the dump is where it arrives at the door and it is put into the hopper for the silos to be accessed by the roaster.
That's right. Well, also then we clean the coffee. We then put the coffee into silo batteries and transport the coffee eventually by making the correct blend from the different silos. Directly we send it to the roaster.
The most important part of the Scolari, of course, is the roaster.
That would be the central part of the roasting factory, yes.
And tell me, what happens there that the operator has so much control and is able to make such a high quality product?
Oh, basically there are so many variables that we change during the roasting process because the burner is modulating, making a bigger, more heat, less heat. There's a fan that's moving the air, that's on a frequency inverter, that's going more and less heat. And we're following our latest software, which is very well developed for roasting. We call it slope roasting.
Slope roasting?
Yeah, we're looking at the rate of increase of the coffee temperature, not just looking at the end temperature or temperature at set points, but we're looking at the rate of increase. Mm-hmm. And we find with some techniques we're using, we're able to take away some variables from barometric pressure outside. If it's a sunny day versus a cloudy day, that pressure on the stack could have an effect on the drum. But now we're looking at pressure inside the drum, and we're controlling the pressure, we're controlling the speed of the drum, because when the beans first come into the drum, they're heavier because they have moisture, and as the moisture goes away from the roasting process, the drum speed changes.
That's amazing, Howard.
Yes, it is. It
Yes,
took
it
a
is.
long time to develop this software
Yeah.
and do it well. We know some people have tried to do something that looks like it, but also behind what you can see on the screen is 10 times more software that is protecting the roast, that is watching for problems, that is correcting things. And this has been developed over since 1986 with input from many of our clients. So we're constantly improving the software. We're constantly improving the hardware to the point that if I went to the factory and looked at the roaster and came back 4 to 6 months later, I would see changes, improvements they make. Mm-hmm. It just is a continual improvement process.
And the ultimate goal is to make the highest quality product.
Yes, years back, Scolari made roasters also for nuts and for other products. And they thought that coffee was so specialized that they just focus on coffee. We don't sell roasters for any other product now. We're focused on doing the best we can with coffee right now. And we believe it's been a very successful effort. Yeah, so the roaster's been designed specifically to be controlled by a computer. We didn't take a roaster and say, okay, we're going to tack a computer on. And there's a lot involved in the design to make the roaster work well with the computer. And now the roaster, as I said earlier, it's networked to the machines before, the machines after. We pass a tremendous amount of information. And
is there something you'd like the small roasters to know about Scolari?
Yeah, my problem, a lot of small roasters, the first question is, do you sell a small roaster? And really, we haven't brought to the US a roaster smaller than a 4-bag roaster. And the reason is we control the roaster so carefully that the cost of controls is more than what would be put on an inexpensive roaster. So the best I can say to a small roaster is grow.
Grow. Put this on your wish list.
Yeah, I mean, it is on most people's wish list.
Yes.
And
at the end of the day, you will have a better product.
That's the key. The key is in the cup, that it's a better product, and people are tasting the difference.
Well, thank you very much, Howard. Appreciate you joining us.
Okay.
Thank you.